This course is intended to complement your in-cockpit training with a CFI or a certified flight instructor when obtaining your tailwheel endorsement. It can also be used as a reference to assist you in becoming an experienced tailwheel pilot. There is more than one way to accomplish your tailwheel training. Depending on what is available where you live, you may fly a J3 or Champ off a grass strip, or a higher performance Super Decathlon off a paved control airport environment. In this course, we try to show you a variety of airplanes in different conditions. It's important to know that whatever type of airplane you fly to start your tailwheel journey, the good basic skills you learn are transferable to any airplane that you fly. And while good aviatorship can take you from a J3 to an Otter and a Glacier landing, your CFI will guide you and point out the differences between techniques used in lower versus higher performance aircraft and flying off grass versus paved airstrips. We will be demonstrating tailwheel procedures using a variety of airplanes in this course. For normal procedures, we'll be flying both an American Champion Citabria and Super Decathlon. Both feature tandem seating, center stick controls, and no flaps. We'll also demonstrate basic tailwheel operations in a J3 Cub and Cessna 180, explore tailwheel flying nuances in the extra series of aerobatic airplanes, and then go flying in a Super Cub in the backcountry of Alaska to highlight bush and mountain flying techniques. If you're a beginner, we will assume that you're flying an airplane with a Western-made engine, such as a Lycoming or Continental. If you are, however, flying a Vedenev M14 engine, commonly found in Yaks, CJ6s, and Sukhois, the exact but opposite yaw and P-factor forces are at play, so swap right rudder for left rudder when appropriate. It's imperative that you read the POH, Pilot Operating Handbook, for your particular airplane and memorize the advised airspeeds for all operations, including VX, VY, VA, and best glide speed in an emergency. However, you will see that in this course, we don't talk a lot about specific airspeeds. Rather, we talk about attitude flying. Attitude flying is visually establishing the airplane's attitude with reference to the natural horizon, with pitch being the most important flight control. While the angle of attack, or AOA, is the angle between the relative wind and a reference line on the wing, pitch attitude is the angle between where the airplane is pointed and the horizon. And while we know that an airplane can exceed the critical AOA and stall at any pitch, bank, or yaw angle, during normal flight, it's not likely that pitch and AOA will be very different. A tailwheel pilot's primary focus should be outside of the airplane and being aware of their pitch attitude at all times. From takeoff, which starts with lifting the tail to a precise attitude, during the climb out, and on approach to landing, and to the landing touchdown. Attitude flying is basic airmanship. Trim is key when flying tailwheel airplanes. You should think of your trim as a primary flight control. Use it often to remove elevator pitch forces. Memorize where the trim handle is so that you can use it quickly without taking your eyes off the horizon to find it. There are two types of landing approaches, with and without flaps. Some tail draggers, like the Super Decathlon, do not have flaps. This is quite common in aerobatic airplanes. Because flaps increase drag, they permit a steeper angle of descent without an increase in airspeed. This gives the pilot better forward visibility and also a lower airspeed on touchdown. When not using flaps, we recommend a slipping approach. Slips are an essential skill to perfect spot landings and are very useful in emergencies, such as an engine-out off-airport landing. We start each chapter with light or no wind conditions, just as you will experience during your in-cockpit tailwheel instruction. As you gain more skill in a tail dragger, you will then be able to operate in stronger crosswinds. We do not discuss techniques for touch and goes or circuits and bumps in British parlance, as there are many things to consider, such as flap, trim, and prop settings, so we urge you to discuss them specifically with your CFI. Throughout this course, we'll use several aviation terms interchangeably. While many people use the term tailwheel to describe this type of airplane, you'll also hear them referred to as tail draggers or conventional gear airplanes. We'll be comparing or contrasting tailwheel operations with those of their modern counterpart, which we call nosewheel or tricycle gear airplanes. Flight control terminology is not exactly interchangeable, as some airplanes have sticks and some have a yoke. We'll be referring to both the stick and the yoke throughout this course, with the intention of meaning the same thing. We'll also be using the term mains to describe the two main wheels of the airplane, which applies to both tailwheel and tricycle gear models. All of the approach speeds referenced in this course will be based on the airplane's stall speed in the landing configuration, called VSO. We recommend flying 1.3 times the stall speed for the final approach, which will work in just about any airplane.